Welcome to Learnersmate. In this video we are going to discuss the Bhaumakaras, well as their administration, social structure and economy. So, let's learn. In the first half of the 8th century AD, a dynasty known as Bhauma Orkar, alternatively spelled Bhaumakara, established its rule over Odisha's coastal belt. Guhdev Patka or Guswar Pataka, the capital of this dynasty, was located near modern Jajpur town in the Jajpur district. The Vishnu Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Harivamsa Purana, Dathavansa, Gandavyuha and Hududallam are the primary literary sources for reconstructing the history of the Bhaumakaras. Additionally, the inscriptions and grants of this dynasty's rulers such as the Neulpur plate, Ganesh Gumfa inscription, Dhauli cave inscription, Terindia, Dharkote, Dhenkanal, Talcher, Ambagaon, Angul, and Talatlia plates shed significant light on the dynasty's political, economic, and religious history. The origin of the Bhaumakaras. K.C. Panigrahi established the dynasty's origins through an examination of the Nepalese Pasupti temple inscription. Rajamti, the queen of Nepalese King Jaydev, was the daughter of Harsavarman, a member of a royal family known as Bhagdatta who conquered Gauda, Odra, Kalinga, and Kosala, according to this inscription. Given that the Odisha Bhaumas claim descent from Bhagdatta, Panigrahi concludes that the Odisha Bhaumas and Harsavarman, the ruler of Assam, are descended from Bhagdatta. He assumes that after conquering Odra, Odisha's coastal belt, Harsavarman appointed a member of his family as governor of the conquered territory, who later proved to be the founder of the independent dynasty of Bhauma. Due to the chaotic political situation that existed in Bengal and Odisha in the early 8th century, such an invasion is natural. The similarity in linguistic structure between Assamese and Odia languages supports the possibility of early interaction between the two regions. Additionally, the scholars identified an artistic connection between Odisha and Assam. The Parvatiya's Ganga images in Assam's Tezpur district and Ratnagiri's Ganga images in the Jajpur district share similar iconographic characteristics. Odisha's geographical location allows for migration or invasion from three directions: northeast, northwest, and southwest. The Bhaumas originated in the northeastern region. Subsequently, the Somavamsis and Gangas arrived from the northwest and southwest, respectively. According to Binayak Mishra and some other scholars, Odisha was the original home of the Bhaumas, who were a non-Aryan tribe most likely related to the Bhuyans who live in modern-day Odisha. According to some scholars, Guhasiva, the Buddhist king of Kalinga whose name appears in the Ceylonese chronicle Dathavansa, may have founded Bhauma rule in Odisha. In the Vishnu Purana, a king named Bhauma Guha is mentioned as ruling over Kalinga, Mahisya, Midnapur, and Mahendra. According to some scholars, Bhauma Guha was the forefather of the Bhaumas, and Guhdeva Pataka, the Bhaumas capital, is named after him. The Bhaumas used a Samvat or era in their inscriptions and copper plate grants. According to K.C. Panigrahi, the Bhauma era began in the year 736 CE on the Gregorian calendar. Who founded the Bhauma dynasty? Who ushered in this new era? Two ancestors of the Bhauma rulers of Odisha are mentioned in the Bhauma records. Lakshmi Kradeva and Kshemankaredeva were their names. Kshemankaredeva, according to some, inaugurated the new Bhauma era. Others assert that the Bhauna era begins with the accession of Shivkardeva I, Kshemankaredeva's son and successor. Kshemankaredeva was an ardent follower of Buddhism. As a result, he has been given the Buddhist epithet Parmopaska in the Bhauma epigraphic records. After careful consideration, Biswarup Das accepted the view of S.N. Rajguru, who dates it to 736 CE, and the majority of scholars concur. The rulers of the Bhaumakaras. The Kshemankaredeva. Kshemankaredeva was the founder of the Odisha-based Bhaumakara dynasty. Prior to him, anarchy had destroyed this land's social structure. According to the Neulpur Charter of Subhkardeva II, Kshemakara established the society's traditional 40-tiered caste system. His blood and iron policy ensured the empire's law and order. On the other hand, he demonstrated his conciliatory policy toward his subjects in order to promote social peace and harmony. Kshemankaredeva took appropriate measures to safeguard the empire's integrity. According to the Samangad inscription and the Daswatara inscription, Rashtrakuta ruler Dantidurga defeated Kalinga and Kosala but refrained from attacking Odra and Utkala. This demonstrates Kshemankaredeva's heroism in consolidating the Bhauma rule in Odisha. The Shivkardeva I. Kshemankaredeva's worthy son Shivkardeva I, alias Unmatta Singha or Unmatta Kesari, succeeded him. He was a powerful ruler who promoted extensive expansion in the northeast and southwest. Shivkara III's culture plate compares him to Poros, who fought Alexander and his Macedonian garrison. According to the same plate, he marched to southwest Bengal with his grand army, defeated the ruler of Radha, and took away in victory the king's daughter along with the latter's kingly fortune. That princess may be identified with Queen Jaivali Devi, who is depicted on Shivkardeva II's Chaurasi plate. According to the culture plate of Shivkara III, the Bhauma army conquered the entire Kalinga region during his reign, from the river Vamsadhara to the Godavari, defeating the Ganga power. Additionally, his victorious arms reached Kongoda and Svetka. According to the Ganjam grant of Javarmandeva of Svetka, the Svetka ruler donated the village Valarisranga in Vartini Visaya of Kongoda Mandala to Bhatta Nannata after obtaining the necessary permission from Unmatta Kesari of Viraja via Viswarnavdeva, who was possibly Kongoda's governor. This fact demonstrates unequivocally that Jaya Varmandadeva was a vassal of Unmatta Kesari alias Shivkardeva I, Kongoda and Svetka's overlord. As a result, Shivkardeva I expanded his sphere of influence to Kalinga, Kongoda, Svetka and Radha. He was eager to maintain cultural ties with countries outside Odisha, Shivkara I. He presented a Buddhist work, Gandavyuha, to Chinese Emperor Taesong via Prajna, a Buddhist scholar tasked with providing the Emperor of China with a translation of that work. This was unquestionably a harbinger of Sino-Indian cultural relations. Naturally, scholars disagree on how Gandavyuha should be presented. According to some, it occurred during the reign of Subhkardeva I, Shivkardeva I's son and successor. However, Shivkardeva's patronage of distinguished scholars tempts the present writer to concur with many scholars that this act must have occurred during that ruler's reign and not most likely during the reign of his son Subhkardeva I. The Subhkardeva I. Subhkardeva I succeeded his father Shivkardeva I, who left his son a vast kingdom. During his father's reign, he was instrumental in expanding the Bhaumakara dynasty's influence to Kalinga, Kongoda, and Svetka. His dream was never fully realized because he was forced to bear the brunt of the Rashtrakuta ruler Govinda III's wrath. According to Amoghavarsa's Sanjan plate, Govinda III conquered Odraka, Kosala, Kalinga, Vanga, and Dehla. This fact is confirmed by a faint reference in Shubhakara, I's Hindol plate, which states that despite the fact that he, Subhkardeva I, was deserted by his soldiers, his glory was never diminished by his adversaries, and he was the best of men. Referring to the Madala Panji, K.C. Panigrahi analyzes a story contained in it that A. Sterling has nearly aborted. The episode details Haktavahu's invasion and the retreat of Subhandeva, Odisha's king, with images of Jagannath. Balbhadra and S.L.Bh Adra are two forms of Balbhadra. Professor Panigrahi connected Raktavahu to the Rashtrakutas and Subhandeva Vitai to Subkardeva 1. Biswarup Das, on the other hand, disputes Professor Panigrahi's assertion that the Rashtrakutas had a bad reputation for destroying Buddhist images. God Jagannath has been treated as a Buddhist deity in any location. Since Shubhakara 1 assumed full imperial titles such as Pambhataraka and Parmeswar, the present writer believes it is certain that he was not a feudatory of the Rashtrakuts. Of course, the Rashtrakuta invasion occurred, but it passed through the Bhauma suzerainty like a meteor. Subkardeva I was well known for his tolerance of other religions. Though he was a Buddhist ruler, as evidenced by his assumption of the title Paramasokta, he granted 200 Brahmans the villages of Kumparka in Panchala Visaya and Dondaki and Yoka in Vabhyudyar Visaya. Additionally, as evidenced by the Hamseswara temple inscription in Jajpur, his queen Madhvadevi constructed the Madhveswara Siva temple in Viraja and appointed a Savacharya to oversee the god's worship. Additionally, she excavated a tank near the temple and established a nearby market, Hatta. Subkardev I was an all-around brave and benevolent ruler. According to the Hamseswara temple inscription, he was a mighty king of the Bhaumakara family. He is described as a man of good conduct and good qualities in the Bhauma records. The Shivkardeva II. With Shivkardeva II's accession, an ignominious chapter in the Bhaumakaras' history began. The Palas invaded Odisha during his reign. According to the Narayanapala era Badal pillar inscription, the lord of Gauda, Devpala, exterminated the race of the Utkalas. According to some scholars, he was unquestionably defeated by Devpala. The Badal pillar inscription bears witness to this fact, as do Tarnatha's accounts of Devpala's conquest of Utkala. Shivkardeva I, also known as Soktasraya, was a Buddhist king. Of course, his queen Mohini Devi was a Saiva, and she was responsible for the construction of the Mohini temple in Bhubaneswar. When the Bhaumakaras showed complete contempt for Shivkardeva II and the Bhauma Kindgam resembled a female with a distressing heart, Shivkardeva II abdicated the throne in favor of his younger brother Shantikaradeva I. The Shantikaradeva I. Shantikaradeva I's succession to his elder brother proved to be a watershed moment in Bhauma history. To bolster Bhauma power, he formed a matrimonial alliance with Rajmalla, the western Ganga king. Shantikaradeva I defeated the Palas with the assistance of the latter. Odisha quickly became an independent kingdom under his leadership. The Hindol plate of Subkardeva III provides a semblance of confirmation for this fact. In this context, it can be stated that Pandit B. Mishra and D. C. Sirkar's association of Goswaminide alias Tribhuvanamhadevi with the Naga family is incorrect. She actually belonged to the Western Ganga family, as historical analysis reveals. Shantikaradeva I was a ruthless ruler who wielded enormous power over his feudatories. According to the Talcher plate of Shivkara III, his fascinating lotus-like feet shone alongside the crownless heads of subjugated rulers. Shubhakara IV's Talcher plate also attests to this fact. As with his forefathers, he possessed noble characteristics. Subkardeva III's Hindol plate states that he was powerful and renowned throughout the world. He was well-behaved, peaceful, affable, and of unmatched quality. Contemporary records lavishly praise the Bhauma kingdom's power and glory during his reign period. Perhaps it was during his reign that the Bhauma kingdom attained its pinnacle of celebrity. The Subkardeva II. Subkardeva II's reign is completely barren, as nothing glorious occurred during his reign. According to his Terendia copper plate grant, he was a Buddhist, and he bestowed a village called Lavganda in Sulantharakurbha Visaya in South Tosli on 6 Brahmins of the Bharadwaja Gotra. The Subkardeva III. Subkardeva III succeeded his cousin. Though brief, his reign ushered in a period of change for the Bhauma ruling family. Because this younger branch is his charter, he never mentions the elder branch's Subkardeva II. Subkardeva III was a devout Catholic. As the Hindol charter reveals, he built the temple of Pulindeswara at Uvangulapatika at Pulindraja's request and installed a deity named Vaidyanatha Bhattarka there. To support the temple's maintenance, he donated the village of Nadilu in northern Tosli's Kankavir Visaya. His generosity is also evident in the Dharkot plate, which records the grant of the village Gundaja in the Kongoda Mandalas Jayanthika Visaya to 2 Brahmins named Narayana and Devakanta of the Maudgalya and Kaushika Gotras, respectively. The Tribhuvana Mahadevi I. With the accession of Tribhuvana Mahadevi I, the political history of Bhaumakaras took a new turn. As Subkardeva III died without issue, his mother, the widow queen of Shantikaradeva I, assumed the imperial title and ascended to the throne as Tribhuvana Mahadevi. Her glory is described as follows in Subkardeva IV's culture plate. She took on the burden of the entire world and shone like Sesnaga, holding the entire earth up on her hoods. Perhaps her ascension to the Bhauma throne did not come without opposition, and she crushed the rebellion with an iron fist. A faint echo of it exists in her own record, where she is described as having ascended the throne in the manner of Katyayani. As her Dhenkanal plate reveals, she adopted the title Paramavaisnavi. Tribhuvana Mahadevi I exercised effective control over her vassals, who demonstrated their devoted loyalty to her. She administered her subjects efficiently by appointing officers of pure character and clean hands. Subkardeva IV's culture plate extols her virtues, stating, during her reign, the country advanced in 3 branches of administration, the foes were annihilated, the glory spread abroad, and there was peace among the people. According to the Hududalalam, royal authority belongs to a woman known as Raina, Rani or Queen, and that the Dahuma, Bhauma, does not regard anyone as superior to herself. Tribhuvana Mahadevi I played a critical role in preserving social harmony. She was a staunch supporter of Vaishnavism and a great devotee of Hari. She set an example by becoming the first female head of the Bhauma family. This served as an inspiration for the Bhaumakara dynasty's subsequent female ruler. The Shantikaradeva II. Tribhuvana Mahadevi I alias Goswamini Devi was succeeded by Shantikaradeva II. Subkardeva IV's culture plate states that she abdicated the Bhaumakara throne in favor of her grandson Shantikaradeva II when the latter matured and was deemed capable of bearing the burden of administration. Though Shantikaradeva II does not have a known inscription, he is mentioned in the records of his successors. According to those records, he was also known as Lonabhara or Lavnabhara I and Gaida II. His queen was Hira Mahadevi. In her son Subkardeva IV's records, she is referred to as Maharajadiraja Parmeshwari. This indicates that she assumed administration for a brief period following her husband's death while her son was still a minor. The Subkardeva IV. Subkardeva IV, alias Kusumhara II, succeeded Shantikaradeva II as his eldest son. Subkardeva IV, as revealed by the charters, has shown signs of promise since his youth. When he was not even a youth, he delved deeply into the inner meaning of the sacred hymns recounted in the Sastras. He is lauded in contemporary accounts as a man devoted to noble human virtues such as magnanimity, gentleness, royal behavior, and veracity. However, the Bhaumakara kingdom bore the brunt of the Somavamsi aggression during his reign. By that time, Janmejaya I, the ruler of the Somavamsi dynasty, had attacked the Bhauma kingdom, and Ranbhanjadeva, the feudatory of the Bhaumas in the Khinjali Mandala, had to square off against the mighty ruler of the Somavamsi dynasty. Janmejaya I annexed Khinjali Mandala to the Somavamsi kingdom following Ranbhanja's ultimate demise. Thus, this was the first sign of the Bhaumakara power's demise. In any case, Janmejaya I solidified his matrimonial alliance with the Bhaumas by bestowing upon Subhkardeva IV his daughter Prithvi Mahadevi. This was another blunder by the Bhaumas, and was largely responsible for the Bhauma authorities' demise. As envisioned, Subhkardeva IV was a weak ruler despite his numerous positive characteristics. The administration of the Bhaumakaras. The Bhaumakaras established a stable government for the people of this land. The kings used lofty titles such as Parmbhataraka, Maharajadhiraja, and Parmeswar. Clearly, the government was monarchical, and the Bhaumakaras adhered to the law of primogeniture. However, there were exceptions, most notably with the Bhauma queens. The officers in the administration of Bhauma. Numerous officers assisted the Bhauma kings in carrying out their administration. Mahasmanta, Maharaja, Ranka, Rajputra, and Antaranga were among them. Kumaramatya, Uparika, Visyapti, Ayuktaka, Dandapasika, Sthanontarika, Vallabhachata, Phata, Pratihara, Mahasandhi Vigraha, Ka, Mahakshapatlika, Kutkola, and Dutka are some of the other names. Guhdev Patka, Guswarpataka, was the capital of the Bhauma kingdom, located in Birja, Jajpur. Though historians disagree, this is accepted with a reasonable degree of certainty. Relation with feudatories. The Bhaumakara kings, like the Guptas, maintained cordial relations with the feudatories. Their kingdoms were not annexed, and thus continued to function as vassal states, assisting the Bhauma sovereign during times of war. Under the Bhaumakaras, the Sulkis, Bhanjas, and Nandodbhavas remained feudatories. Thus, the Bhaumakaras' statecraft was efficient and well-organized. Society during the Bhaumakaras. Throughout ancient and medieval Odisha, society changed. Despite the fact that the Bhauma rulers were Buddhists, they accepted the Brahmanical socio-religious order. They attempted to impose Varnashrama, that is, the division of society into 4 Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. According to Subhkardeva I's Neulpur charter, Kshemakardeva established Varnas in their proper locations. Subhkardeva II established the Varnashrama system in accordance with the scriptures according to his Terendia charter. As a result of their acceptance of the Varnashrama order, the Bhauma rulers placed a premium on the Brahmanas, the highest Varna. They enticed Brahmins from Madhyadesa, North India, and Bengal to migrate by offering land grants. Promotion of language and learning. The Bhaumakara period's inscriptions and literature were written in Sanskrit. Gandavyuha, the Buddhist manuscript, was written in Sanskrit. The Bhauma rulers were learned and cultured individuals who patronized educational institutions. Ratnagiri Monastery was one of the greatest centers of Buddhist learning in medieval India, attracting scholars from all over the world. According to Tibetan tradition preserved in Pagsam Zhang, Bodhisri and Naropa practiced yoga at Ratnagiri. Tarnath mentions that Acharya Pito, who possessed the siddhi of invisibility, was teaching yoga at Ratnagiri and that his disciples included Abdhuti, Bodhisri, and Naro. The women's position. During the Bhaumakara period, women held prominent positions in society. Although they were dependent on their parents and husbands, they were still held in high regard in society. A distinguishing feature of the Bhauma rule was the presence of several female rulers. In ancient India, if a king died without male heirs, the chief queen adopted a boy as the heir apparent, or if the king died leaving a minor son, the dowager queen served as regent, but during the Bhauma rule, women ruled independently in their own right. Tribhuvana Mahadevi, one ruled as a full sovereign following her son's death. Tribhuvana Mahadevi II ruled the kingdom following her husband's death, despite the fact that her husband's brother had legitimate claims to the throne. During the Bhauma period, there were 6 female rulers. 5 of them were dowagers, and 1 was the daughter of a king. Women of affluence and noble families were educated. Additionally, they received training in music and dance. The Bhauma queens were devout followers of various religious faiths and were instrumental in the construction of temples and the establishment of provisions for god or goddess worship. The literature of the time period reflects a society in which monogamy was the prevailing norm. Polygamy, on the other hand, was not unknown in royal and higher families. Sati and Pardah systems were not prevalent. In general, women held prominent positions in society. Religious life during the Bhaumakaras. Pre-Bhauma Odisha was dominated by both the Hinayana and Mahayana schools of Buddhism. Odisha's Hinayana monks had the audacity to assert their doctrine's superiority before King Harsha, a great patron of Mahayana Buddhism. In the early years of Bhauma rule, Mahayana and Vajrayana or Tantric Buddhism flourished in Odisha. The 3 early Bhaumkara rulers, Kshemankaredeva, Shivkardeva I and Subkardeva I were known as Parmopaska, Parmatathagat, and Parmasokta. All those are devout worshipper of Tathagat or Buddha, respectively. A Buddhist monk named Prajna travelled from Odisha to China at the request of Shivkardeva I to translate the Buddhist manuscript Gandavyuha. Numerous viharas or Buddhist monasteries established prior to the Bhauma period continued to thrive during the Bhauma period. The Bhauma period's great Buddhist centers included Pushpagiri, Ratnagiri, Lalitgiri, Udayagiri, Khadipada, Kupari, Chaurasi, and Jairampur. Numerous Mahayana and Tantric Buddhist images from this era have been discovered in the majority of the locations mentioned above. The Bhauma rulers practiced magnanimity and tolerance for all religious sects. The later Bhauma kings appear to have been attracted to non-Buddhist sects such as Saivism, Vaishnavism, Tantricism, and Shakti cult. Madhva Devi, Subkardeva I's wife, constructed a Siva temple. Subkardeva III donated a village for the upkeep of the Pulindeswar Siva temple. Subkardeva IV, Shivkardeva III, and Dandi Mahadevi were all staunch Siva devotees. Sisireswara, Markandeswara, and Taleswara Siva temples in Bhubaneswar date from the Bhauma era. Tribhuvana Mahadevi I, Subkardeva IV, Prithvi Mahadevi, and Santikaradeva to all seem to be Vishnu devotees. The Nandodhavas, who were subservient to the Bhaumas, were patrons of Vaishnavism. In Odisha, the Bhauma period also saw the growth of the Sakti cult. This period saw the construction of Bhubaneswar's Vetal and Mohini temples, which both enshrine Chamunda. The Bhauma period's numerous temples and images attest to architectural and sculptural excellence, as well as religious synthesis and eclecticism. Economy during the Bhaumakaras. The Bhauma kings levied a light tax on their subjects. They aided the growth of feudalism by awarding hereditary land grants to their officers rather than paying salaries. Additionally, land grants were made to religious institutions such as monasteries, temples, and Brahmins. Peasants in donated villages paid taxes to the duns rather than the king. The Bhauma period's most important industry, after agriculture, was the manufacture of cloth. Other industries included stonework, metalwork, carpentry, poetry, ivory work, perfumery, and jewelry. The surviving temples and images are eloquent witnesses to the Bhauma period's artistic activities. The copper plates and bronze images of the era attest to the advancement of metallurgy. Odisha appears to have had commercial relations with Ceylon, China, and Southeast Asia during the Bhauma period. Tamrilipti, Chelitalo, and Palur were the Bhauma territories' ports. The Bhaumakara dynasty was a watershed moment in Odisha's socio-cultural history. It established a stable government with complete control over the feudatories. The Bhauma kings were concerned with the expansion of trade and commerce throughout the land. They were also excellent builders. During this time period, various religions such as Buddhism, Saivism, Saktaism, and Vaishnavism coexisted in harmony. This period saw the culmination of a trend among these religions. Their capital, Guswarpataka, modern Viraja in Jajpur, was dotted with numerous temples of the Saiva, Sakta, and Vaishnav faiths. However, the Bhaumakaras' glorious rule came to an end when the Somavamsis captured power. So, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. To get the note of this video, scan the above QR code or check description to get the link. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.